210 calories in this bag of chips. How do we know? Because the scientists at FDA Regional Laboratory Complex have tested it. I'm Ashley Johnson. We'll have a tour tonight at 10. We are here in downtown Asheville. We can see behind me some of the setup going on for the Bel-Share Festival. 2 new restaurants in downtown Spartanburg means better nightlife and jobs. With school starting in just a few weeks, we've got some school bus safety tips coming up next. We are at the Peace Center in Greenville, where the cast and crew of Wicked are in their second day of setup for the show that's coming next week. One man was already taken to the hospital with severe burns, and it's believed that 2 dogs are still trapped in the building.
Did you get tied up all the time or just sometimes?
Basically all the time.
What if you had to go to the bathroom?
My decision in my bed.
The jury has found the McCurrys guilty of starving and abusing 3 brothers, ages 5, 7, and 8. Ripties like these were part of daily life for the boys, leaving them with scars they'll carry for a lifetime. This is the condition of the boys the night they were taken from the McCurry home. They were later rushed to the hospital, where they were treated by ER doctor Christy Wolski.
He was so malnourished as he had minimal fat on his body. His skin was practically translucent. You could see the veins through his skin.
Both Scott and Molly McCurry defended their actions.
And if I cook supper, whatever we got, like we done meatloaf, we done like casserole, ham and cheese casserole. The kids got fed first. They would eat what we ate.
Scott did admit to tying up the boys, but he says he had good reason.
The only way I knew them kids was not going to get in touch with one another and us get a little bit of sleep was to restrain them kids.
The McCurrys spent most of the trial shifting the blame, but in the end the jury put the blame on both. They were sentenced to 20 years in prison. Reporting in Greenville, I'm Ashley Johnson. Good morning, it's August 11th. I'm Ashley Johnson. Well, the heat is making things tough on local emergency crews. A brush fire going in Spartanburg County is a prime example. Investigators are still trying to figure out why it started. The blaze kept firefighters in Duncan busy for several hours yesterday. At one point, some homes on Leonard Road area were threatened. All new this morning, one person has been arrested after a car crashed into an upstate home early this morning. Have a look at the scene on Pendleton Road in Greenville. Police say a man driving a minivan lost control and hit the house around 2 a.m. The house only has minor damage and no one was hurt. The driver was taken in, but we don't have word on any charges. In a Fox Carolina follow-up, an upstate murder suspect will stay in jail until his trial. Bond was denied for James Baskerville yesterday. He's accused of killing his pregnant ex-girlfriend, then turning the gun on himself. Because of questions raised about his competency, he will undergo a mental evaluation at Sunpoint. Baskerville is currently being fed through a tube while he recovers from injuries he received after he shot himself in the head. Investigators say Baskerville shot and killed Carla Benson at Seneca's Upstate Pain Management and Surgery Center back in June. Benson was 24 weeks pregnant when she was killed. Baskerville was released from the hospital last week. He is now charged with murder and death of a child in utero. 3 banks in metro Oklahoma City were robbed yesterday, all before noon. One ended with a deadly shootout between a security guard and 2 suspects. One of the robbers died and the other went to the hospital. Police say different people robbed 2 other banks on the same day. In the first quarter of this year alone, there were almost 30 bank holdups. It's a story of passion, betrayal, and the consequences of decisions. And yes, it's an opera. Fox Carolina takes you behind the scenes of Samson and Delilah. It's a major production to get all 160 cast members ready for stage, and it begins with costumes. Thousands of hours were spent over the last year creating the costumes for the students and guest artists. The process is completed with makeup and a custom-made wig to transform each cast member. As you see here, I'm getting ready for my role in the Philistine Chorus. It's taken about 2 years to design and produce the 4 sets that provide the backdrop for the action. A 54-member orchestra performs the music for over 100 singers and 3 world-renowned artists.
It's one of the best operas, I think, for someone to see who hasn't seen an opera before, because it's accessible.
Beautiful music. The new production here is absolutely gorgeous. Costumes, the orchestra's amazing.
The opera shows the consequences of Samson's decision to fall for the temptress Delilah. The final scene climaxes as Samson cries out to his God for vengeance. I'm here on the set for the final scene in the opera. I think you just might be surprised by the way the curtain falls. For Fox Carolina, I'm Ashley Johnson.